We're live. Sophia is not present. Not present. Kick from studio. Kick guest from studio. See you later, Noah.
Mhm.
What's up, everybody?
What's
We
up?
were talking in the back end, having good jokes. I was telling this on the back end. I'll tell it live to everybody because it's kind of funny. So I've been playing guitar again 10 minutes a day because my daughter loves music and she really enjoys it. And Noah was just on. He had to go to work, and we were talking about because he took some photography, and his wife told him that his photography was just terrible. It's like, oh, you could tell you knew. And so then I'm playing guitar, and Marissa basically was like, you even know how to play that thing? And I was like, I've been playing in 20 years. Relax. And now she wants to put it in the living room so then we can play more because I'm starting to get better. But guys, 10 minutes a day. You could do anything. 10 minutes a day.
Wow. Imagine what practice does. That's
I know,
just,
crazy.
I know.
Practice something.
Weird.
Sick. Anyways, yeah, that was pretty funny. That's what we're laughing about. Where's Cody? Comment in the comments if you're here and you like the show. I put as the title.
Drop
fitness.
one in the chat if you like the show.
There you go. Like and subscribe. Order your 25/8 hydrate and build. I gotta fix that banner underneath for us.
L's in the chat. L's in the chat for Noah's photography.
Else in the chat. Oh, baby. Yo, Renata. What's up? Cody, comment.
Do you want to give us like a little synopsis on High Rocks this weekend?
No,
I'm good.
no. We gotta wait for that
No.
one. We gotta
It's a
wait for
waste of
Cody
time.
and Luca to be.
All
It's
right.
not a waste of time, but we gotta wait for Cody and Luca to tell their story.
There it is.
Yeah,
That
Cody,
didn't take
notice
long.
what's with the filter, dude.
We're only 2
Also
minutes
cool.
in. See?
Yeah, he's
Dude,
got.
I don't know what happened to my camera. I was in the middle of a call with the guy who owns the gym, owns Arsenal, on Monday, and just completely switched colors. I was like, that's weird. So I went through all of my settings. I swear I bumped like a filter or something, but that was on Google Meet, and it's still like this on StreamYard. So I'm assuming it's something wrong with my computer. So either I need to order an external camera that will sort of be its own webcam, or I need to take it to Apple. Either way.
You're just living that 2013 Instagram.
Life, dude.
Yeah, that's what it
Shit.
was. Dang, dude, I was looking at the old logos of Instagram because the other day I was like, this is kind of within the fitness experience thought process. I was like thinking about Instagram and all the influence it has now and what it's turned into. And I was like, when in the F did Instagram? Because I couldn't remember. And I was also thinking about Facebook in general because you couldn't have a Facebook unless you had a college email.
Mhm.
You guys remember that? Comment in the chat if you're old enough to know that you couldn't have Facebook unless you had a college email.
I knew that was a thing, but I didn't because I got my
You were in
first
college
Facebook
at that time.
sophomore. Yeah, I was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, there you go. So then it changed over, and I was like thinking about like the progression of that and like learning and just how now you can get anything with chatbot, but then primarily with Instagram. And I was like looking, I was like, oh, Instagram launched in 2010 and it didn't even get popular until like 2013. And I was looking at their logo reformats and like do you remember the original logo? I mean, it's similar to the logo now, but what it actually looked like because it's the camera.
Yeah.
So it's the Polaroid camera. And it's like a brown and white Polaroid camera.
Oh,
Do you
yeah,
remember?
yeah. It wasn't like the pink and whatever.
Mhm.
It was brown.
Yeah, it was
That's right.
brown and white Polaroid
Yep.
camera. I was looking at those. And I was like, man, that's what it was for. Like Instagram was for just taking
Mhm.
photography
Mhm.
and instantly putting it on the internet so people could enjoy your art.
It's
There
because
are so many selfies with fucked up filters like my camera.
But yeah, the camera,
Like pictures of shoes
Well, it
and
started
like ice cream cones.
yeah.
well, people just pictures and they didn't want to like listen to what everybody had to say all the time on Facebook. That's why it started.
Yeah, now what's gonna
there was a limit on like the number of word like letters you could put in the caption. Like there was pretty like short. Like you weren't allowed to say much.
I know. What do you think the next thing is going to be? Like, can we regress and go back to that? They tried to do one for photography. I think Peter McKinnon like tried to promote one that everyone's going to switch to, where you could only post your photos, like similar to dang it, what was the photo thing that people would just put stuff up on?
Oh, it was
I don't want to say a word because then it'll mess up what we're trying to think of. It'll come to us. Tyler, do you remember? Flickr. It was Flickr.
Oh, I'm not thinking of Flickr. I was thinking of Tumblr.
Flickr, I think was
Tumblr was like the same shit. It was just photos and random blogs.
I know. Well, what came to my mind though in general was just the amount of information we get from Instagram, and then like people's fitness experiences. I'd like to talk about our fitness experience, like how our first fitness experience, like how we learned fitness, not sport, like lifting weights in the gym or doing cardio in a gym, like a whatever that was, and just talk about our thought process. Cause I was listening to a Peter Attia podcast that's like 2.5 hours long that Hiller did an hour and 15-minute review on, which I only watched probably like 20 minutes of Hiller's because I just could not get through it because his opinions are just like way out there. And I was like, okay, let me listen to the actual podcast. And I feel like there's a lot of underlying context that went way over his head. And when you listen to the podcast, they do bring up this idea of like people's exposure to fitness and what that is and how it kind of solidifies their opinion of fitness. Their example was Peter Attia's example is he started with powerlifting. And so he thought the only way to get fit in the early on set of his like journey, obviously he doesn't feel so anymore, was like back squat, deadlift, and bench press. And so I think talking about people's fitness experience would be kind of fun. Who wants to go first? I can,
Tyler.
but
Yeah,
Tyler.
mine started with football. So my first exposure to the gym was like off-season workouts. We would box squat, we would power clean, we would trap bar deadlift with just the instruction of like just get it done. Like it was just like the power clean, we were told like just get it from the floor to your shoulder. Like there was no do it this way properly. Because the guy that was our football coach was also our strength and conditioning coach, who was also a teacher at the school, who had no business being any of those things. But like that was my first exposure to like actual like gym workouts.
And what was the goal behind, like, what was two questions? The first question is what do you think or remember the goal was behind that coach is like idea to get you guys better? And then like, what was like your own recollection of like your idea to get better?
I think his idea was, I think his idea was like what it was supposed to be. Like I think he had the right idea of like making us stronger, more powerful, just better all around athletes. I just think the way he went about doing it, like, because he would even go to like coaches conferences, but come back and nothing would change. So it was like why are you going?
Well, it might have been like getting a confirmation bias, just getting told the same.
Maybe,
stuff.
yeah. I mean, and this was like late 90s, early 2000s. You know, so I think we've had a lot of knowledge increase since then.
Or ability to access knowledge. How about that?
Yeah. So I think his intent behind it was right. I think just the way he did it, he didn't know how to do, because he wasn't like, he was somebody who was a teacher, who was then made a football coach, who was then made the strength and conditioning coach because he was the football coach, you know? And I think my view of it didn't differ much because I didn't know anything other than that. You know, like I thought like what he was telling us to do was what we should be doing. So that was my first touch on gym.
Nice. And then did you carry that before like finding any other knowledge? Like did you, once you were done with football, did you just like do what you did, like get into a routine of like, this is what I know, this is what I do?
Yeah. I did that same workout essentially for like 3 or 4 years after because I played my freshman year in college. So a little bit better, but still not that much different than high school. But after that was the only workout routine that I really knew. So I did that same workout to an extent for like 4 years. And then I had like a personal trainer for like 3 months. And his entire goal was basically to teach me how to do my own workouts. And then I got into CrossFit and took my L1 and went from there.
All right. Interesting. Heather?
Well, interesting. I feel like, I mean, I played soccer growing up. I know you said not to talk about sport, but I was thinking about it when, well, I mean, that's like
fine.
where it originates, right? I was thinking
Yeah.
about it when Todd or Tyler was talking, and I'm like, so when I was a sophomore in high school, I played in like a like premier soccer league, and our coach was this guy from Germany. And I remember like him having us do like we would do like these like training camps, I guess, like in the summer. And we did like a little bit of weightlifting, but not really. Like I don't even think I really got exposed to weightlifting till I was in college, which is super interesting because I talk about this a lot because I people that like know my story, I like tore both my ACLs basically, but one about a month before I went away to college. So I got a scholarship to go play. And just I think growing up like in that space, like everyone had ACL surgeries. And like now knowing what I know, I'm like, man, if girls like in high school were strength training and doing all those things, like I think they
You're
would
not
have
telling
like,
us how you got into strength training.
no, I
what you
know,
did
but
for
I guess
what
what
we
I'm
did.
saying is like I just didn't get exposed to it. So I'm like telling like when I was in high school that I was working with this specific coach who was from Germany. We would do a lot of like I remember like running sprints on like a football field with like a parachute on, and like that was like our like sprint training, or we would do like a lot of like sprint drills and running drills, but there wasn't really any strength training per se. But then fast forward, like that was kind of what I did when I
So you
was
did nothing then other than play soccer from the
right.
time that
And
you
we
can
and we would
remember
do like I said, like
till college is what you're
sprint
saying.
and running and training, but like there was no
Like you never went
strength
into a
training.
gym at all, like in the off season outside. You just
No.
just playing soccer.
Yeah, pretty
Right.
much.
Okay.
And so then I'm telling the injury story because that actually is what got me into exercise science, strength conditioning, wanting to work in physical therapy, because my really first experience was like going through that injury, working in going to school for exercise science and then being exposed that way. And then once I kind of like rehabbed that injury, playing soccer, like my first year in college, like that's when was more exposed to strength training then, but it never happened pre like high or pre-college, which I always thought was really interesting. So, but we didn't even really do like power cleans. We just would do like squatting, deadlift, press.
So like what was your thought process then out of college, like to maintain? Because you obviously, well, I can't say that because there's like adult soccer leagues, but
Yeah.
yeah, what was your idea of like, okay, now I'm done. How am I going to stay fit and healthy? Like, what is that?
Yeah. Well, honestly,
you're like, all I did was soccer. I hurt myself,
right.
and now
And
I rehab.
Right. And so I had a little bit of like strength training background from like my college experience, but that was like really minimal. And I played like college or adult soccer till I was like 27. Like that was my exposure. And then once I had these injuries, I started going to the gym. I was like bored. I didn't really know a lot what to do. And that's how I found CrossFit. And so I got exposed to CrossFit when I was like 28 and started doing CrossFit. And that's like a lot of where I learned strength training from, was from that.
So like for 5 years, you just played adult soccer leagues as like fitness.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I would go to the gym and run on the treadmill and
Yeah. Tell us about that. So you
okay.
went to that. That's what I want to know about. Like I
Okay.
want to know about the in gym. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Like I could care less.
Well, I
about
guess what I'm saying is even when I was in that, like that 5 years, like I'd go run on the treadmill. I'd do squats. I would do deadlifts. I would do pressing.
Where'd you get this from? Like, where did you like?
Well, it was just stuff that I did when we were in college soccer. Like that was just like stuff that I just pulled from there. But really, I felt like I was just regurgitating that, but I wasn't really like doing anything progressive, I guess. Like I was just like doing the things that I learned from those programs. And I think that's a big reason like why I found CrossFit and why I really enjoyed CrossFit was because it actually gave me a lot more exposure to the gym and strength training than I had ever had before.
All right.
But I was bored. Like I would think that's really what the answer is. I was just bored was going to the gym. And I think a lot of people feel that they just like do the machine weights or they do like whatever.
Well, I want to know what you did. What did you do?
As I told you, like I would do like the machine weights.
Right,
I would do like, I would do like mostly dumbbell. I didn't even do like a lot of barbell stuff. Yeah.
All right. Harley did bull riding, so he didn't strength train.
Yeah.
He's trained those adductors, baby.
I strain those adductors weekly. That's why my squat is so shit.
Oh God, that's why your
Dude.
squat is so strong.
So strong. It's just steel cables down there. It's all scar tissue.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, so I did rodeo growing up, and then whenever I was like 14, 15, I started to go to the gym. My mom got me a personal trainer, and I just did chest day, back day, etc. throughout teenage years. I was a super small kid, like late bloomer, if you will.
Your mom get you a personal trainer. At what age?
I was 14.
Sick. All right. Good job, Pam.
Yeah. So I told her I wanted to work out. I knew I was small. I knew it probably would help for various reasons just to get bigger, stronger, whatever. But like the reality is like genetically, I was a small kid for a long time. I didn't break 140 pounds till my senior year of high school.
It's a late bloomer, as they say.
Late bloomer for
So
sure.
was I. Don't worry.
And then I just like when I went off to school, I had trained in a Globo gym or in a club style gym all throughout high school. I remember my senior year, I'd wake up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym before school, like every day. And I just trained chest day, back day, whatever, to varying degrees of success, right? Like I didn't know what the hell I was doing from a progressive overload standpoint or principles of strength and conditioning, but I would just do 3 by 10, right? Like for everything. And that just was what it was. I went off to college, got into like bodybuilding.com, like some
Solid. Here we go.
This
is good.
Who was that bodybuilder? He was like pretty popular at that time. I just like followed one of the popular bodybuilders at the time.
Greg Plitz was pretty popular.
Super lean, small guy. It wasn't like a classic bodybuilder who was huge. He was like
Steve Cook's another one.
What was it?
Steve Cook's another one that's pretty popular bodybuilder from bodybuilding.com.
That might have been him. Anyways, super lean blonde guy, spiky hair, faux hawk, the works.
I think that's
Steve Cook. Look it up.
He's still around. He owns Fitness Culture in Utah. And he was with Gymshark.
Oh yeah, Steve Cook for sure. Yeah, that's who it was. So I followed a Steve Cook like bodybuilding routine. No progression at all. It was just like 8 weeks of the exact same stuff, which is totally fine. But it just gave me some structure and something to follow, and it was free. Yeah, that was him, Steve Cook.
There we go.
So I just followed whatever free blog was on there.
This is what Harley wanted to look like. Look at this guy right here.
Oh yeah,
hey, nothing wrong with that, baby. All right.
So from there, my uncle was training for a triathlon at the time. Some family friends were training with him. So whenever I moved back from New Mexico in my first year of college, I started pursuing triathlon. And at that time, a friend introduced me to CrossFit. And then I just went down the rabbit hole of CrossFit YouTube because they used to put out a ton of like quality educational clips from seminars, from speeches, the Big Sky Montana like affiliate videos, those hype, like it was Rich and Dan versus randos, it was just like classic OG CrossFit stuff. And I would just like study film, essentially. And I ordered out of the support of my mom. Again, she was always supportive in whatever I wanted to do. And I was like, hey, I want to put a gym in the barn. So she gave me enough money to get a set of dumbbells, squat rack, whatever I wanted from Rogue, because that was, the brand that was supporting CrossFit. So I was like, oh, I want to do this CrossFit stuff. So I need to get Rogue equipment. And it'll last me forever, which is awesome because I literally like have had some of that same equipment my entire still. So it does truly last forever. It's a good investment. And then I just started making up my own Metcons, and there was this thing. It was essentially like a digital hopper. It was a website, and it was like water roulette or something like that.
CrossFit. I don't want to hear about CrossFit.
And then I just went on that.
In the gym exercise.
No, I told you what I did.
I know now you're going down the CrossFit rabbit hole again.
Well, that started at 19. So now we're over 2 times the duration of my training. So like 66% of my lifetime of training has been CrossFit.
Yeah.
The other stuff was me fucking off in the gym doing chest day, back day, whatever, and having no progression, or I didn't have the like genetics on my side to support it, or even the understanding of eating enough to support it. So
Mhm.
like that's where it started. And then I found CrossFit, and then I went down that rabbit hole. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the way to go now, obviously. But I got lucky. I mean, we all have an athletic background, but I pulled it up and I followed for my in gym when I was like, okay, I want to get stronger and more muscles for martial arts. And then we were doing like strength and conditioning for lacrosse. I was like, well, I like this was in 2004. Whenever Blade Trinity came out, you guys remember Ryan Reynolds looking fucking jacked for that movie? So I was like, okay, how do I look like that? You know, that was a goal. So then I was like, yeah, okay. I needed like lift weights and figure this out for like aesthetics because I want to look like that. I know it's going to improve performance. And I got super lucky and Marissa already ruined it. But what's interesting, and I didn't know this for a long time, is I got the book Huge in a Hurry by Mr. Chad Waterbury, who is an exercise scientist, instructor in physical therapy, teacher at USC. And he's doctor of physical therapy. He wrote this book, Huge in a Hurry, that I followed in 2008. Like it was the Bible for probably like 4 years until I found CrossFit. And literally like Tyler, I would do that book over and over and over. And in the book, they had clean and jerks, they had snatches. So that's what like laid a foundation for myself for CrossFit. But literally could not have found a better like stumble across, like just be like, okay, I want to look like Ryan Reynolds. I'm already doing sports and activity. And I just stumbled across like how you found like Steve Cook, Harley, which is also kind of interesting too. Cause like bodybuilding.com had a ton of programs at the time. I'm surprised Heather didn't like find like Dana Lynn Bailey or something. Cause at that time she was Miss Universe.
Yeah.
And it was just
was back.
cool. Yeah, she was. She still is. And
sure.
yeah, that book, like I could not have stumbled across a better thing that has like good training principles, had diet, nutrition in there. And we just me and a bunch of other guys just followed it religiously. And then I got into the bodybuilding world for a little bit. You know, and that was weird, but
yeah.
Works.
I just think in my experience, it just, women just weren't really exposed to lifting as much. I don't even think I even put so much emphasis on it when I was playing sport.
You're hanging out with the wrong crowd. Probably.
Apparently. I mean, I played like pretty high level soccer, and I was, looking back on it, I'm like, man, like the fact that we just never really were exposed to it until I was like a sophomore in college, which is just insane to me. And so,
not Miss Universe, Miss Olympia.
Yeah.
She was Miss Olympia in 2015, also 2013. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know how well, I guess you're doing CrossFit during that time. So never mind.
What year?
She became Miss Olympia in 2013.
Yeah.
And 2016 here on the Google as well. So like, never mind. All right. Surprised though. I mean, she obviously had to be around doing the stuff.
Yeah.
Jane Fonda? No Jane Fonda? No,
not that old.
Suzanne Summers. Any Suzanne Summers? No. No, what's crazy is I think about it now, because like that was, for most people, even the joke of like Suzanne Summers, Jane Fonda, their exposure, females, is what? Group class aerobics, like class aerobic activity, exercise.
Yeah.
Jazzercise.
Yeah. They still have jazzercises around.
Zumba.
Similar things, right? But like, yeah, strength training for women, obviously no real exposure until you want to say, what year would you say, Heather, like as a female, there's like actual real push mainstream for weightlifting? When I say weightlifting, I'm talking bodybuilding, powerlifting, any type. It could be just body aesthetic strength for women. When do you think that like really changed? What year?
God,
it's pretty recent.
Probably, yeah. I was going to say probably in the last 15 years, maybe 2010, 2008.
All right. 2008.
I'd say sooner than that.
Really? For women?
I mean, yeah.
No,
like
no way.
I'm saying like 2018 is what I'm saying. Like
later. We're later.
Yeah. More recent. Yeah.
More recent. Just because like I mean, you still see women having a hard time getting into that. I think there's been more of a voice lately of women being like, no, this is actually good for you, regardless of your gender. But I think it's just been, I would say like 2015, so maybe 10 years.
I don't even think like when Dana Lynn Bailey was popular, I don't even think what she was doing was like women didn't look at that as like cool or like,
Sure.
you know, like people weren't like romanticizing that about her until later. And now I think, I know you don't want to talk about CrossFit, but I think like CrossFit is like what's done that, I think, for a lot of
Oh,
women.
100%. CrossFit brought
Yeah.
powerlifting. I know people aren't going to want to hear this. You know, we don't have that many people watching, but if they see this later on in life, CrossFit brought powerlifting and Olympic weightlifting back from the grave.
Yeah.
Those things were almost dead.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like bobsled. people are gonna laugh. Okay, so Stacy Sims' Roar was first published in 2006, or sorry, 2016. Misspoke there. So okay, all right. When did Mia Hamm and them win? When did they win?
I mean, 1999 was the big year,
Okay,
or the first year.
they weren't
big
really
year.
promoting like exercise, really, other than playing soccer,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
To your recollection, I
Yeah.
can't really remember. I wasn't like,
Yeah.
wasn't hugely. On
I
my
mean, and then
radar.
they were really like the team was really, I think, still successful 2008. But I don't ever
Marissa,
remember.
I still get emails about toning and lightweight still. Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to get bulky, dude.
I'll get
Yeah.
too big. All right. Okay. That's what I wanted to highlight. I just wanted to highlight that. Look, we're all on the same page of like women lifting weights is fairly new still. Not
Yeah.
even, I wouldn't even say close to like a real big push where it's normalized. I would say less than a decade.
Yeah.
Normalized across mainstream.
Yeah.
Marissa's saying not
Yeah.
mainstream still.
I would say it's not that mainstream still.
Oh, okay.
Because like you look at like there's a lady who comes to our gym. She specifically only comes on leg days, and she owns her own little boutique that's called like Booty Workshop or the Booty Shop.
Sick.
And so she has like a group of like 30 plus women who just do like booty band workouts and body weight lunges and goblet squats and like lightweight implements.
So she's keeping the secrets from them. She's teaching them the shit coming to your
coming
class
in and squatting. Yeah.
She's brought a few of them in, right? And they've done like a workshop over the weekend one time in our space. But yeah, like it's crazy. Like a lot of I would say more women are trending that way than otherwise.
Yeah. That's so funny. My favorite. I get big really fast. I know women who say that. I really want to be like, all right, fuck, let's go. Let me see this shit, dude.
It's
Must
so
be
My
nice.
nice.
favorite is, yeah.
I'll get
My
big.
favorite is I don't want to get big, and I'm like, oh, don't worry, you couldn't if you tried.
Yeah.
Like, you probably won't.
Oh yeah, I mean that was on the Peter Attia podcast, and I forget what her name is. She got the dark hair, and she's on there. She's the doctor that works with like it's big time on muscle. She's been with CrossFit podcast and everything else. Forget her name. You can pull it up, but yeah, she was talking about that how like people still say that, and she's 110 pounds or whatever, and they're talking about she kills herself in the gym just to like have a little bit of muscle. And it's like, yeah, dude, the amount of work and nutrition you have to do, the amount of dedication you have to do, men and women, not just women, to look a certain way. And they covered it a little bit too of like some of the guys were talking about it, Mike Boyle, how they looked up to people as they were training, and then later on come to find out they were on drugs, you know? So it's
Mhm.
like, I was working my ass off and eating this way, and they're taking anabolics, and that's why they look so crazy good. You know, so like that's also a thing too. I would like to touch on a little bit of like expectations and perceptions, but yeah. So as far as
I slowed down for 1 year, and apparently Todd says I'm tubby now.
oh
so.
my god, your mom,
No, that's
said
your mom.
that. Jeez Louise. I was just piggybacking off of it and making
Dude,
a
I'm gonna
joke.
make a vicious comeback. The coaching schedule is changing at our gym this next week.
Hey.
I am gonna have time. I'm gonna train so hard.
DJ, if you're listening, see how that works. Just run around and call people.
Just
Clearly works.
lives rent free up here. I'm just never gonna tell me I'm not good enough. I will be 8 years deep of just obsessive training.
Hey, some people
Tell me I'm
some
tubby.
people say,
You just gave me fuel for the next 8 years, Todd. I'm
Alright.
ready.
A hollow hold.
man, some people would say, yeah, no hollow hold. Approach is abusive. Others would say it's motivating. Crazy.
Builds
Crazy.
character. It's super effective.
getting huge on their 80 grams of protein daily. Yeah, the ladies.
Marissa with the
no.
zingers over
Yeah.
here.
Marissa, I think we need to open up a shop called the Bakery because all we do is make cakes.
Oh, dang, the booty shop.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna open one. Yeah, you could bounce a quarter off that ass. Crazy. That's even crazy that like
wow,
that
the
is-
fact that you just said that's crazy. That's a little misogynistic, Todd.
let's I'm not the one
You
who
objectifying women?
I'm not but it's in the title. That's what's crazy to think about. Like, okay, you say that, and that's fair. But also, this woman, not to hate on them, because I love that people are exercising. It's a positive thing. Everything else, you're getting 30 women to exercise and get after it, and instilling some type of physical culture in them, which I love. With all of that said, you're calling your gym the booty shop.
Oh, for sure.
So therefore, I can say whatever comments I want. You've opened the door.
Literally.
Yes, literally and
the
figuratively.
business's door. Yes.
Yes. And all of those women are enticed to go there because
Correct.
of their exercise perception and experience, and they want
And
the
pursuit of
booty.
aesthetics. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you get mad that I'm saying that, all of those women in those doors should be like, I would argue, flattered or excited that like someone like me or anybody saying that, because that's what you want to get out of it. You want to walk out of that booty
Facts.
shop and
Feel
you
good
had
about
that ass.
yourself.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
had that ass. Like that's so relax over there, Harley. It's not misogynistic.
No,
Pursuit
I was
of-
just
my
dude, I
wife.
love how I love how
Pursuit
big
of the booty.
I love how big your eyes got though. Dude, your eyes were like
Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked that you would say that about me. Jeez,
it was
Louise.
a joke. It was just an aggressive one.
That's true. That's true. It was all teed up though, because the booty shop. But
Oh, for sure.
yeah, I mean and I don't even think that's a bad thing. You can play into that too a little bit, because like a lot of this started. I was thinking about because I got in the comments on this lady. It was on Hiller, some other people, but she's like selling her program similar to the booty shop that I would say is subpar to something like CrossFit, and it's just saying how CrossFit's dangerous and disparaging it and getting after like it doesn't create adaptations, all this stuff that she has no knowledge about. And everybody in the comments, like even Pat Barber got up in there, Adrian Conway, like all the CrossFit people, I got up in there and ripped her about, oh, it doesn't create adaptations. Well, what about VO2 max? Because she's hating on high intensity and all this stuff. And like even just insulin regulation for having more muscle. And not just CrossFit. I put in the comment, not just CrossFit does that, other strength programs as well. And CrossFit does also help that by building more muscle, and you can shoot the muscle up with carbohydrate and not be overweight, sick, and nearly dead, right? So it's just an interesting thing, perception of what people want, how they navigate themselves through that, or how they stumble across and get fitness for their fitness experience. And the other thing is like, what things, if you guys are in the comments, you've done fitness wise that you have tried that don't give you a result. Because I was even talking to one of our
Running.
There we go.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, arguably aesthetics wise, sure. And VO2 max, eventually VO2 max will taper out,
Yeah.
you know, but your ability to continue at a lower heart rate, cardiac reserve, like those things can increase over and over and over. But
I was
then
making a joke of why I'm still bad at running.
you're not, dude, after that Hyrax, you are not bad at running, and you are not allowed to say that you're bad at running.
I
bro.
felt good about it.
You're fucking wild. You are wild, dude. Anyways, we don't want to
Carry
talk. We don't wanna
Carry
ruin
on.
it.
We're not doing that. Carry
Okay.
on.
Bodybuilding, honestly. So Tristan, you didn't get any like benefit from bodybuilding?
P90X.
Peanut, but there's a lot of
A lot of
people.
people got good results from P90X. That's
Why?
because it was essentially body weight CrossFit.
Yeah, volume and intensity.
Yeah.
Intensity. Insane. With insanity. Boot camp, DVDs,
Yeah.
Savage, built the engine in college. That's it. That's how she got so aerobic. She was doing boot camp,
Insanity boot camp
Insanity
videos.
in
I
college.
forgot about those.
Dude,
Oh
what
my
was it?
God.
The kickboxing videos. Tybo.
Yeah, we always
Oh,
thought it was your
dude.
basketball. I feel like that's the answer.
We solved the mystery.
Oh my God. Let's see. I used to do OTF. It wasn't it. Didn't know what to do now. Let's see. Tristan says, not really. Not that I was optimal bodybuilding training when I did it aesthetically and performance. I was at my best just doing buckets of CrossFit. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. We had this conversation last week.
Yeah.
About what would give you a better physique, CrossFit or bodybuilding. And I said, all things created equal, I think if someone's bringing intensity to a well-rounded CrossFit program, you're going to have better aesthetics.
Yep. And we all
I did.
agree, except for Jace. I think Jace disagreed when we were.
CrossFit disagreed.
Oh,
Because
CrossFit.
he was like trying to argue for hypertrophy. The AI bot tried to argue for hypertrophy.
The AI bot. He's the AI bot now. He or she, them,
It,
whatever. Yeah.
whatever it wants.
But yeah, I mean, let's see what this was. Hold on. Insanity Boot Camp with the basketball team. We did them all together and went motherfucking ham. Okay. And then
Her last one's good.
imagine trying to win a DVD workout. Oh my God. That's it. That's the answer. Everybody, you want a huge aerobic capacity
So
and be
good.
better at CrossFit.
Try
Go
to beat the
get yourself-
DVDs.
Yeah, go get yourself some Insanity DVD workouts and try to beat the DVD, dude.
I forgot about those. That's so good.
Oh my God. That's actually a good. Were there a lot of women in those videos? I mean, I remember like some of them, but
Yeah.
Richard Simmons brought the vibes. Short shorts, ladies in the back.
People loved him.
For sure. That Jerry curl was sick.
Uh-huh.
that Jerry girl. So how much do you think some of that, because like obviously we're easy adopters of things and first adopters, early adopters, I guess is what it's called. And we all got into CrossFit. When you got into CrossFit, was there anything that you brought with you that pushed against trying CrossFit
I
and just
found
going into it?
I reflect on this a lot. When I remember whenever I started CrossFit and the person who introduced it to me was like, oh, you do one Metcon a day. That's all you need. I was like, I think you should do some bodybuilding alongside it and it'll create balance to this and create more structural stability. I didn't have that vocabulary at the time, but that's what I was trying to get at, right?
I was
I was
going
like-
to school for exercise science. They're like, get out of here, nerd.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I think you could definitely do more than one Metcon a day. One, I think that you need more volume in that. And two, I think you should do some bodybuilding alongside it. And they're like, no, you don't need that. And I'm like, well, just one. That's all you need. And I was
Just
like, okay. So then I started doing more. And
That's what you
then
got.
I learned about Rich. And then I started doing a lot more.
What is this doing? Hey, his internal age is like 29 years old based on his like Whoop and his blood score. So no one
You said 26
or
earlier.
26, whatever. You can look it up. It's on the Mayhem video, the recent one that they had. You can look up what it was. But dude, no one can compete with that guy. He's so young but so old. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think
All
that's
right,
the only pushback that I would say, like, that I had said that people didn't necessarily align with that early on anyways.
Tyler, you got it, and you got your level 1 like pretty right away. Was there anything you brought into CrossFit, or were you like, nope,
No,
this is cool. I'm gonna do.
yeah, I didn't have any like I had no frame of reference besides like my football days, so I didn't have anything to bring into it. The one thing that like really was like pushed back against my football days was just like actually having technique to do stuff, because like in the L1 we talked about like, no, there's a proper way to do this. It's not just getting the work done. Whereas when I played football, like I said, it was like just get the work done.
Oh, that's interesting. Funny how CrossFit's not about just getting the work done and work on proper technique.
Weird.
Crazy.
But it's dangerous.
Football days, you were get the work done. Who cares how you do it? Oh, crazy.
No, technique doesn't matter.
Ever. That's
It's more work, less
You're
time.
lying. You got to be lying. What about you, Heather? Did you bring? I mean, you were playing soccer, so you obviously
Yeah.
had no real. You didn't know what you're doing. You're floundering around,
Pretty much.
and then was
I
just
mean,
like, "Fuck it."
Yeah.
Here we are, CrossFit.
Yeah.
Floundering around, tearing ACLs.
I know. Horrible.
That's because she was playing soccer at a really high level. That's not
What
Yeah,
came
that's
first, the
training.
floundering or the ACL tear?
ACL.
Yeah.
ACL, then you floundered on the ground.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no. Just in the 24-hour fitness. What?
Yeah. Pretty much. Like, what am I doing? What's
Oh, that
happening?
girl's doing that. Well, there was they did talk about this. I don't know if it was Mike Boyle in the Peter Attia one, but there was one of them had a client that literally coming into their fitness experience and going into the system that they have, their fitness training system. They said that their experience was they would watch this girl who was pretty fit at like the global gym and just be like two machines behind her and just
Do
do
what she did.
what she was doing and just would do that.
That's cool.
Yeah. Which what's kind of what made me think of like this fitness experience. Cause we've all coached an affiliate. Most people who listen to this are either in an affiliate or have been in an affiliate, have coached in an affiliate. And it's just, I was starting to ask some people like what the biggest challenge I have is like one, Instagram. That's why I brought it up. People come to you all the time with Instagram bullshit that you're like, you got to cut through. And hopefully they believe you or they don't. I mean, hopefully they believe you, because if they don't, it's just really frustrating. And then secondarily, like some of the notions they have coming in of like what is good training for them, why do they need to do XYZ, and carrying this stuff with them. I find that like it's more prevalent now that people carry these ideas. Like I don't even say dogma because it's not really that crazy yet. Like they could let go of them, whereas like dogma, you probably won't even let go of it. But just a really hard idea that you have to do XYZ to get skinny or whatever. And I think some of it's like they just want the answer. Like that's where the story of that girl following the other girl around resonated with me, because I was like, they just want to know how to do that. They just want to know how to be that fit. So they see that person and they emulate it. But it's the same thing as people coming in from an Instagram post. It's like they see a fit person or a subject matter expert and they just want the answer. So they do that.
Well, I mean, it's the same as me learning about CrossFit and studying via YouTube, and just like I called it watching film. Is I was just like, what are all these games athletes doing?
Mhm.
And like, what is CrossFit as an organization saying via these free YouTube videos? And it's, at the time they put out so much content, I feel like
It's
I
a little
learned
more
a lot.
open-minded than what I'm suggesting.
No, I know, but it's like mine was just the more extreme end of that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like you follow people who are better than you to
Mhm.
get better. Like, and
Well, yeah, I wanted
ideally,
to look like Ryan Reynolds, so then I followed Chad Waterbury, So.
So like
For
I
sure.
remember in 2013-ish, Todd, when we used to deep dive every week on all the Barbell Shrug podcasts. And those were so good. I just remember like still really like learning a lot about strength conditioning even back then, and just like listening to their stuff. And because I mean, if you were to ask all of them, right, they all came from like doing just whatever in the gym when they were kids, and they talk about this like all the time, and how their evolution of strength conditioning has like evolved. And then they have Andy Galpin, who's like the muscle physiologist, and they talk a lot about like his studies and the stuff that he's done. And I just feel like I learned like so much from them, and they were like I was like a sponge to them a lot.
I mean, think
Yeah,
about
but it's easy
who
enough.
was on that podcast. Like, it's still people who are relevant in our space
Michael
now.
Bojic.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
And CTP was the one who produced.
that's what I want to give CTP his roses too. Yeah, it's just they were just OGs and they're still in it, still putting out content. Like, it just
they're
may
still
not
right.
be.
They're
And
still
Yeah. But like I
still
feel
doing
like
it well.
I learned so much from them, and just like listening to all their stuff.
Well, I think that's what it is like again, the Instagram thing, and we're talking about now podcasts, and even like I'm talking about the Peter Attia podcast, and we're definitely avid learners and early adopters of a lot of things, and like test it, try it, right? You have a, what I would say would be a laboratory, the gym, and you have subjects, which is like you, and you got a cohort of people of varying degrees, and like try it out, right? But I do think there is definitely a lot of pushback still in the space. And I was wondering, that's why I want to hear your guys' stories. And maybe we're the wrong crowd a little bit, because we're already, Harley shared how he was so open-minded that he's going to watch a ton of YouTube videos and see what CrossFit's saying and put it all together and string this together. And, the one bias he had was like, hey, maybe I got to do a little bit more. And then he looked at the top people and they were doing a little bit more. So he was like, okay, I'm kind of on to something. But I think a lot of people, and even some of the one-on-one athletes we have, I think sometimes challenge ideas from other ideas that may not make a whole lot of sense, and just where that comes from and why that happens. Because same thing. These fitness coaches and nutrition coaches and health experts on Peter Attia is talking about the same struggle with people and training and what it is. So it's like, okay, cool. Phase 1, try to learn more. I think phase 2 is like understanding you're in a place of experimentation. Like you get to try this stuff with yourself. And then if you're lucky enough, you might have a place like we do where it's like, hey guys, we're going to do triphasic training for 8 weeks. Cal Dietz triphasic training we're going to do the eccentric, we're going to do the isometric phase, and then we're going to do the speed phase. And we're going to see what it does to you guys. And I can already see a lot of change in people when their positionings, their tension, like they're understanding how to do this, because we are using a method by somebody else and putting 120 to 150 people through this method, and we get all that feedback and watch them real time. Like, and most of them are so good about just trying it. Whereas like you could have a gym full of people. I don't want like a global gym. I don't want to do that. I want to do this program. I want to do this thing because so-and-so said. It's a pretty interesting thing where people come in still with their preconceived notions or like fear. But I think at the heart of it, like they still want that end outcome. Like they want whatever they're chasing. So I don't know. I just thought it was pretty interesting. And I don't want to share because I've talked to a lot of our members recently about the same topic. Like, what'd you come in with? What'd you think? What have you changed? And like, even at the 9 a.m. class today, I asked everybody, this is a more pertinent question of the day. It's not like, what's your favorite ice cream? It was like, hey, I want you to tell me something in the last month that you've learned about fitness that has challenged your thought process about fitness. And we got this whole conversation on menopause, and it went for the whole class. It was crazy. It was good. It was really good. We all had a good time, but that's a good question to ask people. And it just sparked a huge conversation. But I don't know, it just made me think about talking about it, like our fitness experience, if we have any bias, what coming in and everything else. And it would just
I'm completely unbiased for sure.
Yeah. What does Tristan say? Todd, when do you go to war on the boomer BS being touted in all these podcasts? Boomer. What do you mean boomer?
He's calling them boomers, saying that's an obsolete perspective. It's out of date.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think, well, here's what's tough. I told Heather, there's this book I'm going to get. I didn't even know what it was. It came out on the podcast it's Charlie Francis. I didn't know who he was. It was in Peter Attia and them talked about it. And the book came out in like 1988. I looked it up. It's basically like how to train speed. I actually think I've read the book a long time ago, but it was originally called Charlie Francis Method or something. And then I guess in one of the Olympics, they got busted for anabolics. And then, so there's a huge controversy. I looked it up. So like then they changed the book from Charlie Francis to just like Chasing Speed or something. I was trying to figure out which book it is so I could just buy it, but it's like $7 on Amazon if you guys want to check that out. Either way, they talked about it, and they talked a little bit about how like it's way ahead of its time from 1980s, and they're talking about tissue quality, tendon strength, and health, and like all this stuff. So that's why I kind of want to get it, because I want to see what was written in the 80s that we're all talking about on podcasts now in 2025. Because sometimes I think, what are we all doing? I think I was saying this in a class the other day. I was like, why do you think reinventing the wheel is such a good idea in your health and fitness? I was like frustrated with somebody. So I was like challenging them with that. I'm like, you're literally making the same wheel that it works perfectly fine. Like, stop.
Yeah. And also talking about just like, what is fitness in its simplest terms? It's manual labor.
Yeah.
It's manual labor.
We can talk about that a little bit.
That's pretty good.
Like we live in a comfortable modern world where we have everything at our disposal that we could ever want. And so we have to go to this artificial, stressful environment, the gym, to place its stress on our system to create an adaptation and change the way that we look for health, wellness, etc. If you look back in the early like 1900s, I bet plenty of people were strong, fit, capable, whatever, because they're just working in the fields and they're just working to survive. And every day was manual labor. They didn't need to train to get better at manual labor because they were living it. So now we just mimic it. They simulate the adversity to the challenge on the body, right? We simulate stress. The body doesn't know if we're fighting a lion or picking up a barbell, deadlifting, we're picking up our kids or 10 children on a bar, Yeah. We're just creating stimulus for the system in a safe environment. And the fact that anyone is like, oh, this methodology is dangerous, it's stupid. Because realistically, the life that we used to live before modern society, that was dangerous. You see those, but like going to the gym theoretically is pretty hazardous for
Well, we
the
have
most
to-
part.
it's a non-negotiable. I talk about this with all people. Just
Exactly.
like you said, like because the industrial revolution, cars, machines, computers, everything that we can do now, you're 100% right. It was without manual labor. We have to now fake the manual labor, like Tristan's saying, and stimulate the body and everything else. And it is funny because he brought up the, like, if I hear one more person say like you shouldn't deadlift, he's going to lose his mind. And it's like Marissa's just saying we should all go back to the farms, which that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
No, but they talk about not squatting in the podcast also, and Hiller covers this. And like, dude, listen, if you want to squat and it doesn't hurt your back and doesn't hurt your knees, squat. You could also do unilateral work, which they talk about, and they make a strong argument for it in the podcast. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Running, jumping, like they use the analogy of jumping a basketball, like, or dunking a basketball. Yeah, you're going to jump off one leg. I mean, in our training programs, we do single leg work. We could also pull away from squatting, which brings me to like another conversation of the fixed thought process of, I think, the participant in a CrossFit class or a group model class. Like if you go to a gym and let's say you can't squat for the day and a coach isn't figuring out like, hey, look, can we lunge? Can we do something else? Like you're at the wrong gym. Find a new gym, find a new coach. But like there's nothing wrong with having what do we have today? Isometric holds, 4-second squats because we're in the ISO phase. Okay. Nothing wrong with doing lunges, knee off the ground, holding for 4 seconds.
Been doing that on Thursdays, dude. Been having people do split squat holds for 30 to 45 seconds for just knee and hip stability.
Yeah,
like,
see? And there's nothing
stuff.
wrong with that and coming into a class and changing it up, you know? We got this one girl hurt her knee. They think it's bursitis, but she's going to go see an orthopedic because it still hurts. And like today I had her do lunging holds and wall sit holds. So she can still participate, still move her body. She has aesthetic goals, typically wants to look good, feel good. You know, she also has a huge motor, so she needs some strength. And we made those adjustments. And so you hear this podcast that's like, don't deadlift. And then somebody come or don't squat. We should be doing this. And I guarantee you, like, I'm glad I listened to it while I was doing some zone 2, but I guarantee you we're gonna have some people come in over the next month and be like, did you hear we shouldn't be squatting? Why are we back squatting, Todd? You're going to hurt everyone. Although the numbers that they say,
because we want you to get hurt.
Yeah,
That's our main goal as a gym owner.
we should be lunging. We should be doing unilateral work because this person said so. And like, I'm like, well, that's really interesting because I listened to the podcast and it says that the training program, only 20% of their athletes were getting back injuries of the whole cohort of people that they're training. Additionally, most of these people were NFL football players who could back squat 500 fucking pounds and you can't. So let's just step this all back. And also, if we got a room full of 10, only 2 people are going to get hurt from that back squat. So risk reward benefit analysis, like chill and listen to the podcast better.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people's information uptake is
They
the
just,
part
like,
of the problem.
Take half
Oh,
the
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So Tristan,
I
I
felt like
got
I
you.
had something
I got
else to
you.
say. I felt like
Yeah.
I had something else to say, but I lost it. I have another call. We have an all hands meeting here in 1 minute, so I gotta go.
Yeah.
But good chat.
Tell them you got to do more lunges.
Do your manual labor, do your unilateral work, do your
Yeah.
isometrics, have fun, work hard. It'll be a good time. Have a great day, guys.
See you, dude.
Thanks,
Bye.
But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is like looking at this stuff and your fitness experience and your fitness exposure and just opening it up because there's so much stuff changing all the time. Like even, for example, I mean, Tristan, well, Harley said it about, you don't know whether the stress is running from a lion or is that what he said?
Yeah.
And then the stress is from whatever else, right? And that actually brings up an interesting conversation around like cortisol, because I was looking at a cortisol recently and I've like argued with Paige, who's one of my one-on-one athletes. She's also in med school. And then she looked it up and it's like the blood serum cortisol to be like damaging has to be so high for like a long period. And she looked this up and she came back to me because I told her it's not a big deal. Like, stop, you're freaking people out. Cause she would like say it and be in here and be like, dude, it's not and I was like, look it up. I'm not, I don't go to med school. Like, you look it up. She looked it up and was like, no, you're right. Like, it's got to be so high. Like, it'd be almost near impossible to keep it that high for that long to be like so damaging.
Mm.
And you think about Tristan saying, like, listening to podcasts where people are saying deadlifting is bad. It's like cortisol, the silent killer. It's like, oh my God. And then now recently they're looking at some of the research that was done on cortisol and like high intensity training. It's really funny because there's now new quote unquote research coming out producing the same, like doing the same study, the same experiment, but they added a layer of testing blood cortisol an hour after exercise and 90 minutes after exercise. Whereas the original study was like they had them do intensity and then tested them right away. And it's like, well, duh, cortisol is going to be high.
Yeah.
Right.
And what they found now is that 60 minutes, it's dropping. And by 90 minutes, it's back to baseline from the initial test
Like the
high-
hour before.
high
Yeah.
intensity, pre-exercise. So you're back at your stable level of cortisol. And people are just like woo, yeah, making a solid point. That's good. Anyways, so it's just interesting like how that the original study, and same thing with like injuries in CrossFit, the original study for injuries in CrossFit, which people always point to because it was in New York Times, and some of this original research, if you're a general care practitioner and you're not up on the new research because you don't really care, I shouldn't say that. I don't know. For whatever reason, you're not up on the research and you're not in here doing high intensity exercise, working with hundreds of people coming through the doors of a CrossFit gym or a group model gym doing high intensity and strength training. You have no reason to look into if the research on cortisol has changed, but I have perfectly good reason to, because I deal with people every single day doing high intensity, and I should, as a responsibility, is this bad for them or is this good for them?
Mm-hmm.
And now that there's this coming out, but there's not going to be a redactment in New York Times about how, we got cortisol wrong. And you do hear it on podcasts. It's coming out. They're like, oh, we got it all wrong. Like exercise cortisol is good. Da, 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 da. Like it's totally fine. This, that, the other. And like even Tristan saying, just because you didn't get 8 hours of sleep and red light in the morning, you'll be fine. Shut up. It's like a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. You got to be, it's just one of the small things, and like there's some stuff that's going to ruffle people's feathers. That's preliminary that I'm looking at. That's because I have a vast interest in like menopause, and there's some perimenopausal stuff coming out that I think are going to upset some people who are really either selling some quote unquote cure or something to people who have perimenopause. And it's going to be interesting. We'll see how this all changes. And that's the other thing. Science changes and you got to be up on it and okay with like changing your fitness experience, thought process, and that's why I like wanted to start with this of like, unfortunately none of you guys had a bias here. We were all like, yes, we just want to get super insanely fit. Give me the answer.
Yeah.
And we're just like, whatever you got. Oh, you say this, I'm going to do that. Oh, you said I'm going to try this, and just like really try to get insanely fit. And hopefully like you guys listening, that's an approach you start to think about is like, things are always changing. There's new science. Like, I mean, even your Apple Watch, your Garmin is so much more accurate now. Like Cody and I argue about this of the chest strap versus the wrist. And it's like, if light's not seeping out the sides, it's pretty accurate relative to a chest strap. It's optimal to have a chest strap if you keep this thing tight. Like Heather's got an error for her Fittest of the Coast qualifier, but then it like goes back to normal, 3/4 through the workout. And it's because the thing probably got loose doing something or shifted around, and it loses connection through the refractment of the light in the capillaries and everything else. And like, it's whatever. It's a small error. It's not a big deal. But like looking at all that stuff and just being like, all right, this is like all just like information. These are all little pieces that are going to help me get to where I want to go. So that way we don't actually have to move out into land and do hard manual labor. We could just do gamification exercise, like Tristan's saying, wait, what is he saying here? The previous generations built the world. We know smoking cigs all day, drinking whiskey, building shit, hunting, fishing. Somehow a ton of them lived like 90. Well, I wouldn't say the people with smoke, dude. We know smoking is bad for us. Now, one time I looked this up in the 1930s, there were doctors who were actively promoting smoking and actually got kickbacks from like Marlboro Company, which is pretty crazy to look at. But now they know, don't smoke. It's not good for you. Take some time. How long ago was that? So 1930, doctors were saying
195 years ago.
Yeah, bro. So it's gonna take 95 years for other things that we think are good for us
Right.
to find out that they're bad for us. Think about that one.
Yeah.
Because
Well, we'll hopefully be dead by then. We
I
won't
know.
know.
Well, it's funny because like we're making an argument for high intensity exercise, but it's like, okay, hold on a second. Because people will say, well, CrossFit's only been around for 30 years now. It's like CrossFit itself is a training, but it's like, yeah, but high intensity, like we just talked about the Insanity DVDs, those were in the 90s and bled into the 2000s. You got high intensity cycling. The Tour de France has been around forever. The friggin' Olympics, like all those people, Olympians, like years and years and years. So like high intensity has been around for a long time. It just looks and feels different. It's packaged differently. So we already know that it's good. Just like aerobic activity is good. Lifting weights is good. It's been around for so long. Even Harley's point, like you pick up hay bales and build them. You build the pyramids. We know it's good, you know, unless you believe aliens built the pyramids, then you have a whole nother problem in your life. Okay. Tristan, yeah, you get my point though about
Yeah.
the smoking.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. What do you say? Oh, if Zers end up, what is it? Zins? What are
I
Zins?
don't know what's in
I
it.
don't know what that is.
Being bad, I'm cooked.
Some cigarette thing, probably. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, hey, it's really interesting just to think about and what bias you might have or things you come into, fitness with, and just like work on it
Yeah.
and like relax about it and just try something. Use yourself as an experiment. If you like something, you see it on the internet, like have a conversation about it with your coach and be like, why do you want to try? Right. Because that's like, okay, I wanted to look like Ryan Reynolds. Was picking up the Huge in a Hurry book the right thing? I had no idea at the time. It turned out to be the right thing. It was a great resource. I didn't know at the time that the guy was a doctor of physical therapy and like everything else. Like, but it happened to be the right thing. So you might stumble across something that is the right thing, like CrossFit. Heather didn't know CrossFit was the right thing.
Mhm.
And like, look at her now, almost 2 decades later, doing CrossFit. She feels great. She's an old lady, you know. I'm an old man too. It's
Yeah.
okay, guys. Yeah. So it's just really interesting. And I hope that people will, like Tristan saying, just kind of cool off on some of the podcast stuff, some of the research stuff, some of that, like, and just let me just try,
Yeah.
because Heather and I were talking about this before, and it's like, look, you guys follow me on Instagram, you get coached by me. Yeah, I may not be insanely fit like Cody as far as like the sport of CrossFit. And that's not really my like outcome goal, like end all be all. I don't lose sleep over it. I don't know if he loses sleep over it, but do most people want what I got? And I'm here to share as much as I can with you and like tell you the secret. And I guarantee you're frustrated with your position for whatever reason. And a lot of it has to do with like you're in your own way. There are a lot of women in the gym that Heather coaches in classes that want to be like Heather. Kayla walks in the gym today. She's a strong mofo. She's a prime example of a hero in the eyes of some of these women. And Michelle was like, oh, Kayla's here now. I want to be strong like her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show her and like use that motivation to be strong. Right. And it's like, people want that. That's why I was hoping you guys would be like, yeah, I wanted to look this way. Or I want to get fit this way. Because that's what you want. And we have the answer.
Well, and it's taking the decades of experience and the things like, or you particularly, right? Like all the things that you've gone through and tested and tried, not only on yourself, but a lot of people. So I think that's why you get really frustrated because you're like, I've already done all the work. I've already found all the answers. I've done all the testing. Like, just believe me. And I think a lot of people just come in who have this very small scope of, I've been doing CrossFit or I've been doing strength training for 2 years. And it's like, they're still very much in that learning, experimenting phase and trying to learn that about themselves, but you're giving them literally the answer and the tool. And you're just like, here, let's cut through like 15 years and just do this.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't need to waste your time.
Yeah.
You really don't. And look, if you like things, like I told Michelle too, because her and I talk about a lot of different podcasts on health and fitness all the time.
Yeah.
And we share stuff. And like, and like Renata too. we talk about stuff all the time. She's like, oh yeah, we're just gathering data points, just like treating new diseases and having new treatments. It's like, we talk about a ton of stuff, and it's like, okay, you still want to do that, like Harley was saying too, and like pull all that information in, but also know that, like, look, there are fundamental things here that we need to be doing. And it's like, okay, strength development of the patterns, whatever the functional patterns that you want to classify, push, pull, squat, hinge is what I like. You could add unilateral lunging in there also, single arm work, you could add that in there. But other than that, like just basic that, high intensity, low intensity zone 2, moderate sustained intensity. Like that's it. That's really like the foundation of what you really need. And then the specificity that comes along the way and the nuance of all those things come along,
Yeah.
and they can come with like you finding stuff, good assessment. Cause like the one lady that I reference has 1 million followers on Instagram saying that CrossFit is bad. You know, it's like,
Crazy.
okay. So 1 million people saw that or more, obviously, because like the reach beyond. And it's like, it's not bad. It's really not. Like, it's funny how you can't sue anybody nowadays for stuff like that, which is crazy to me. You know, although CrossFit did sue the NSCA and did win that lawsuit about research studies that were published that were falsified, and the PhD candidates who got their PhD actually got their PhDs revoked because they lied in the study.
Interesting.
So that's pretty
Well, I
crazy.
wonder, like somebody like her, it's like, well, most people, or almost what everyone
She's
who's
just a
done,
trainer, so
but
she
everyone
just-
who's done CrossFit will not say that. So it's hard for me to take someone who's never
hasn't
done
done
the
CrossFit.
thing to say CrossFit's bad. It's like, you know nothing.
but the
you
point
need
of it
your
is like
own
people,
experience in that.
yeah, but the 1 million followers, like,
I
think of-
know, but
think-
that's what I'm getting at is that as a 1 million follower looking at this person, it's like, well, has she ever done CrossFit? What is her experience with CrossFit? Has she ever even tried it
no one
to
thinks
then
that way.
take
No one thinks that way.
validity of what she's saying?
No one. That's
I know,
too critical.
But that's like with anything though. I mean, that's like anything. Everyone takes something from Instagram, one little clip.
Your
and they're
critical
just like,
thinking skills are way too high right now. You
I
need to bring
know,
those
but
down.
that's what I think that's what you're getting at
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
fact that, you know, people hear things, and that's why you get frustrated when people bring you stuff from Instagram, because it's like, well, what's the resource? What's their experience in that? How did they gather this information?
Right.
Et cetera, et cetera. And most of the time it's just like an offhanded opinion of,
Yeah, and then we fight about it because
Right.
I want to know more information, and I think that frustrates people too. Because, like you're saying, most people don't look at the information, but I think it does stem from the bias of what you came in with, what you really want out of fitness, and being honest about that, and then following that pursuit
yeah. Well, and
through that.
conversely, if whatever you're hearing fits your narrative as well, right? It's easy to be like, yep, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, like I was just thinking about this when you're saying it, or like if you want to get insanely aesthetically good looking, like Zoolander, you ridiculously good looking. You just take anabolic steroids. Like they're gonna fuck you up for sure. But if you want to look good, like take anabolic steroids. Like I don't know why people are taking Ozempic to look good. That blows my fucking mind. Like if you want to lose weight and be shredded to the gills, Tren or Anavar, like go ahead. You heard it here first. Like, I don't know why the
Oh
fuck
my
you're
God.
wasting your time.
But then it's like, what happens when you're done taking that?
Oh, you get effed up. But I'm
Right.
just saying,
So
like,
it's
if
like-
the goal is to like,
I know.
I'm just saying the reality of that is like train really hard and take those anabolic steroids and you'll look really good. Right. But yeah, people are like, oh, I'm gonna do Ozempic and lose my weight and blah, blah. And they come in to the CrossFit gym and like, I'm not trying to hate on Ozempic. I'm also not trying to hate on anabolic steroids. Like if that's what you want to do, like some people do crystal meth, you know, it's whatever. Like it's whatever you want to do.
Okay. We're not promoting that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Anabolic, I'll be all right. Yeah, low dose, you probably would be. But yeah, so like my point to that is like what we got people on one end that's like, you know, oh, red light therapy, sleep this much, optimize this thing, all the things, right? And on the other end, it's like, well, you could just take Anavar and not have to do any of that shit. So like that's the world we live in, realistically, right?
Right.
You could do all these things and look decently good and feel great and be very healthy for longevity. or you could do anabolic steroids and mess yourself up, but you would still look great. And like the outcome would be very similar, right? So like that spectrum of information and change in your body and training and everything else is vast, is my point. And so because of that, you get trapped in these things or you get lost in it because it is so vast. And that's crazy. It's crazy. You know, like who do you listen to? What do you look at? But main point, like if you have any bias that you're coming to the table with a fitness program, stop. Like come with that. Be like, hey, my bias of this is because I want this. So what else do I integrate? What else do I open up? What, like, who do I talk to? Who do I get help from? What do I look at? Like Heather's saying, ask a ton of questions and try to cut through that stuff and build a better like fitness experience for yourself. I love it. And come have productive conversations with me. I love it, dude. We talked for an hour about menopause. Positive. We got the training done, everything else, you know, CrossFit #community. And today we only squatted and did power cleans. So it's all good.
Only.
But, I mean, not only, I'm saying like, it wasn't like it was high intensity. And I was disrupting.
It was lifting day.
Yeah. It wasn't disrupting their rowing and burpee intervals. Like we had rest periods. We were chilling, high-fiving, getting all doing smelling salt. No one was doing smelling salt. But, you know, had them energy high, music up. Anyways. So yeah, it was a good opportunity to like talk about fitness things outside of their actual like fitness. Like, what do you want to talk about? Someone could have been, let's talk about pescatarian diet. Is that how you say that?
Pescatarian.
Pescatarian. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone could have brought that up. Nope. Menopause. Here we go.
It's been a conversation in the gym a lot lately.
Because it's all over the internet.
Yeah.
That's why I keep talking about it. But I'm not talking about it. They're talking about it. And I just, okay, let's do it. But yeah, it was good. And I like that. Hopefully you listen to this and you sit back, you think about your own fitness journey, think about all these things, you bring it to your coach, you bring it into your gym, you look at more resources, you ask good questions, right? I'm still a boy. I'm not menopausal yet. Yeah, that's
Okay.
true. Yeah, so I just wonder where it's all going to go, to be honest.
What, fitness?
Sort of just like the Instagram information and like everything else.
There's too much.
I don't think it's going away.
Well, no. But I'm just thinking of like, when do you get blunted from it? Because I'm already blunted from it.
Like,
I'm wondering
blunted
when,
in what way? Like, what do you mean by
like
that?
I don't listen to a lot of it. I see it, I get irritated by it, and then I let it go. You know?
Yeah.
And then we talk about it, or people ask, or hey, did you see? Like I'm very on the know of things, but I'm not very like
You're not triggered anymore?
No. Yeah, actually, name the last time I'm triggered. When was the last time I've actually like been triggered?
By Instagram?
Just really anything fitness related.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
see,
can't-
because I haven't. I mean, we talk,
I'm just like trying to rack my brain because you're usually triggered about a lot of
yeah, I
things.
know. But in probably like maybe 4 months, I haven't been like triggered enough to be unruly about it. Like there's conversations, there's more questions, there's a little bit of compassion. Like I've tried to just be like, all right. Yeah. You know, look at menopause. Men are pausing. I don't know, dude. That was good though, Cody. Menopause. Menopause. I don't even know if that's actually how you spell it, dude. I hope you like Googled the actual like letters there, so then you could make that joke. I have no idea.
I think he's right.
It doesn't matter. That's funny though. This guy, menopause. I'll be here all night, he says. Good jokes. All right. Well, that's it. Tristan, I hope you had a good day, dude.
Yeah.
So clearly he's going to do Anavar. Don't spread that rumor. Oh my God.
Again, cut that out.
Yeah. Man, I'm serious though. Sometimes I'm like, when Cody puts up some scores and shit, I'm like, dude, it'd be way easier. But then you get all messed up. So don't do it. Don't do it, people.
Cody's also 23 years old.
Doesn't matter. My ego does not care.
It matters a little bit.
Nope. My ego does not care, dude. It's
I mean, he's still fit.
it's
I ain't
two
taking that
humans.
away
It's
from
two
him.
humans in the room. All right.
I mean, does it
Fighting
negate the
for
fact you want to rip his head
superiority.
off? I
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Lose every time. I don't give a fuck. I could lose every time, and I'm fine with that. Not gonna change the fact that like I'm like, "Oh, I just want to beat.
What was the
Cody."
joke we said on that when you were like, yeah, I go into workouts and I want to just like rip your head off. And
Yeah.
I do. And I'm like, you always, and you do the first round, you rip everyone's head off. You're like, I got you on round 1.
Hey, I strongly believe I could win the first round of every workout.
Yeah. I know. And you do.
I'm the fastest mofo of all time. Except when I tear my hamstring. Oh my God. I'm better now. All right. Thanks for listening to us. We got 2 people. Everybody left because they knew it was over. Like and subscribe to our channel. We like doing this. If you have any topics, ideas, love to hear it. We'll talk about anything, obviously.
Obviously.
That's good. I just want people to change their like attitudes
Yeah.
and outlook for the better. Come with an open heart and an open mind, people. Just try you. I have the answer. We have the answer. We'll get you fit. It's like I told Nate, because Nate, he thought I was joking, but he got his feathers ruffled a little bit. But I was joking. But it's like, hey man, I want you to get as fit as you can possibly be. I'm not going to hide anything from you, but I also want to beat you. You know, and if I can beat you, I can beat you. But I'm also going to give you this is the way, and I'm not going to hide anything from you, so you can get really fucking fit. And I feel that way about everybody that I see in the gym and coach online and everything else, because I want to make everybody so badass, just like the boys at High Rocks. They were so badass, dude. They're the most badass. They're the most badass because they didn't do like really any training
High
other than
rocks
cross.
training.
Yeah, any like specific high rocks.
Well,
I mean,
minus
CrossFit is high rocks,
the
but-
8 by 1,000 meter runs all summer.
Yeah, but we're gonna do that again because that was great CrossFit training.
It was. It really was. But
So yeah, it's specifically like plucked from the race. But yeah, it was good. They're badass. They are badass. They're more badass than any of you watching. There's one person watching. It's probably Cody. He is the badass. See you later, people.
bye.